Hi guys, and welcome to another Hero of the Week. This week's hero is a man named Muhammed Atif, who posed a question to members of a Northern Ireland Assembly committee which was looking into racism and following up with victims of the recent riots that took place in Belfast. There were shocking findings from the evidence given, including advice from the Police Service of Northern Ireland given to people from ethnic minority backgrounds to consult with loyalist paramilitaries for permission to move into those communities. But Muhammad asked a very powerful question. Have a listen.
Different people representing different communities were asked to give evidence to this committee today, focusing on a summer of disorder and hate crime attacks.
Our community members report being advised by the PSNI to consult, to negotiate or listen to community leaders with a link to paramilitary organizations. This is not acceptable in any democratic, peaceful society.
Giving evidence on behalf of the Belfast Islamic Centre, Dr. Naomi Green said policing alone could not tackle this issue and there are problems with the discourse.
There are voices within the political and media space who continue to speak of legitimate concerns in a way that subtly excuses attacks and prejudice on minority communities in Northern Ireland. There is nothing legitimate about fueling resentment and scapegoating Muslims or other minorities for complex issues like housing shortages or economic difficulties.
The TUV MLA Timothy Gaston said he didn't recognise claims of institutional racism which had been made by Takura Donald McConey from the African and Caribbean Support Organisation Northern Ireland.
You wouldn't have any of the experience of institutional racism that I'm mentioning because of your ethnic. So you cannot discount something you've never experienced simply because you can't experience it.
Well, that's not my experience. So what? There's different people.
We are here, as Emma said, to hear about lived experience.
All of the people giving evidence asked that Stormont make reforms, step up on legislation and lead from the front on anti-racism. One representative posed a question to the MLAs sitting in front of him.
When do I stop being immigrant? Is there a timeline? It's been 16 years. My kids have not seen any other country as their home country. When they stop being immigrant?
Eve Rosado, BBC Newsline.
A wonderful question. When do I stop being an immigrant? I would love for the right-wing parties like the TUV, the Traditional Unionist Voice, to answer that question. And you notice the arrogance of these people. I'm talking about the TUV here, the Traditional Unionist Voice, suggesting that there is no institutional racism in Northern Ireland. Of course there isn't for you, because you don't experience it. There are people coming to this committee explaining how they have experienced it, and you're dismissing it. Now, let's go back to the start here. The point that was raised, that people from ethnic minority backgrounds, refugees and asylum seekers, were being instructed by the Police Service of Northern Ireland to go and negotiate. Just think about that for a moment. They had to go and negotiate with mafia bosses. And these are like mafia bosses. The loyalist paramilitaries, the ones who run these communities. The police advising people. Can you imagine in any other civilized society? Can you imagine in any other part of the United Kingdom if the police said, actually, if you want to move into this area, you need to go and meet with the local mafia boss? Politicians would be up in arms over it, but for some reason in Northern Ireland, it's normal. It's completely normal. Asylum seekers want to, start a business in a local area. They want to move into that area. And not even asylum seekers, just immigrants in general. They have to negotiate with loyalist paramilitaries. And what if the loyalist paramilitaries say no? Then what happens? This is how broken Northern Ireland is. It's a failed state. There's no law and order in a situation like that.